recording, Kathleen. Thank you so much, and welcome to your meditation practice. I really want to thank Kath. I want to thank Land of Medicine Buddha for hosting this every Saturday. And it's lovely to have the number of you, which is growing in the Zoom room. So again, for those of you on Facebook Live, if you have interest to join us where we can see each other, you can ask some questions at the end. If that's helpful, you can register at landofmedicinebuddha.org and then go to the Dharma calendar. And you can look at Saturdays and click on the 9:30 link. And then you can sign up. And that brings you into this Zoom room if you like. Thank you for joining. So let's just take a moment. Once again, centering ourselves, shedding the distractions of our busy lives and days. Just slowly allowing your respiration to deepen as you find your way into a good posture. Meditation is accessible for anyone at all, truly. Just takes a bit of effort and a bit of consistency. In many ways, we are all beginners. So you can lightly close your eyes, and as you do that, check that your spine is as extended as possible, as if your back is straight. So you can also feel, are your sides long? Are they extending? Because that helps to keep that nice open flow for your spine. You can absolutely sit in a chair to meditate. Just have your feet straight down or perhaps on a cushion or a block so the hips feel balanced. Or in any sort of cross-legged posture if you're seated on a cushion on the floor or on a wide chair. The main point is to be comfortable. So find your way physically into this posture. Begin to deepen your respiration. Really feel that deep inhalation as the amount of proper oxygen we need enters our body, nourishing the cells, the tissues. A deep exhalation, letting go of what doesn't benefit. And this is very practical meditation. So if you're ever sitting and you notice you're very distracted, then close your eyes completely, but lightly. If you're ever trying to meditate and you are drowsy and falling asleep, then open your eyes a crack and let a little light in. And as you inhale, you may want to bring in some positive mindset. For instance, we can inhale hope. Feel it soaking all through the different systems of your body. And as you exhale, perhaps releasing desperation. Maybe we inhale love as we release hatred. Put it into your own words. So, one of the most important things about a meditation practice is to make sure you are relaxed, that you are relaxed. Let's start from the very top of our head right now. I'd like you to take a couple of minutes scanning down through your entire body, moving all the way out, that tension through your feet and toes, checking the various areas you may store tension in the body. For instance, it could be our brow or our jaw, our neck and shoulders. As you inhale, imagine bringing space into the tense areas. And as you exhale, releasing that tension as much as possible. Clearing out some of the subtle channels in our body. Let's practice a breathing practice, the 9-round breathing, to clear that out as best as possible. I like to begin with an exhalation. So close off your right nostril. You can do so with your finger. Exhaling deeply through your left nostril. As you inhale, close off the left nostril. Inhaling deeply through the right. And as you do this, imagine you're releasing anger and hostility from your mind 3 times. Our next round, close off your left nostril to begin as you exhale deeply through your right. As you inhale, close off the right nostril, inhaling deeply through the left. Feel that you're releasing attachment and desire from your mind 3 times. Our last round, we're exhaling deeply through both nostrils, inhaling deeply through both nostrils. Imagine releasing. This is helping you to release confusion and ignorance from your mind 3 times. And allow the mind now to settle on the breath, a normal, natural breath. So we're not doing Ujjayi breathing like in yoga, but the mind settled there. Please practice with various techniques. For instance, that helps you to stay more concentrated. Feel free to count your breaths. A full inhalation and exhalation counts as one. See how far you can count before the mind is off the breath. Simply become aware without any further story. And gently, and that's important, gently, bring the mind back to the breath. Begin counting again at one. Try your best, 5 minutes. We often meditate to calm ourselves down. People often say they want to be peaceful. Makes sense. But the crux of the meditation, in order to be peaceful, is about getting to know our minds. Through meditation, you start understanding certain behavior patterns, how to reduce the negative ones and transform those, how to enhance the positive qualities that are showing up and lengthen those. Hugely helpful also to be mindful, meaning we are tracking our minds. You're there when you put your cup down, when you put your glasses down or your keys down. You know where they are because you were there present with your mind. I like to practice that kind of mindfulness. So we will make a short break. If you want to adjust your posture, you can do it at any time, but we certainly will stop midway and you can adjust. So let's fine tune the breathing meditation. Let's fine tune our concentration. This type of meditation can help us develop focus in everyday activities. It allows us to slow our mind down, and that's not a problem like our culture thinks it is. You can slow your mind down so you're more present and tracking. You end up getting much more done if that's an issue for you. So some of you may be counting the breaths. Another one is as you're trying to stay focused on the breath, which could be the space just outside the nostrils where the air enters in and leaves the body. You might be focusing on the rising and falling of your abdomen, whichever is more comfortable. But rather than jumping back and forth between those two situations, try one for this segment. If a distraction comes, feel free to label it and then back to the breath, meaning got distracted by sound, label it sound or hearing, back to the breath. You may have gotten distracted by a thought, an idea, simply a thought, or label it thinking. Gently back to the breath. Try your best, 5 minutes. So slowly, if you like, just for a moment, you can open your eyes, take your mind off the breath. Just look around the room 10 or 20 seconds, keeping your position as best as you can. So when we're newer to meditation, it's really helpful to do short segments when the mind is fresh. Some people think you should sit for an hour and they're just spacing out, going through their lists. It's a waste of time. It's nice to have the sitting feeling that you've got a place, you sit, but if the mind's just uncontrolled, and you continue that, it creates a habit of that. So it's not so helpful all the time. So just fine tuning again. Let's do a third segment. You can lightly close your eyes, place the mind on the breath, but make a determination now. Internally, this is what I'm doing now. Focusing on the breath without my mind wandering. Following that thread of your concentration on the breath. 5 minutes. And for a last minute, notice the mind that is questioning, am I meditating? I'm not a good meditator. I want to meditate. Is this meditation? I'm off the breath, all that activity. Just let go for a moment. Just let go and allow yourself to be in meditation. And just bring your awareness back to your space. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes and feel free. Just observe your mind for a moment. It's a very nice space when you just come out of a brief session, any session, rather than jumping up, reaching for your drink. Just observe any bubbles of thoughts come up. If you'd like, feel free to adjust your posture in any way. So our next segment, I'll be guiding you through some imagery and things to think about as we explore our precious human rebirth. So the advantages of being a human who has met a spiritual path like this one. So find that comfortable posture. You can lightly close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine right now, as best as you can, you're in your absolutely most favorite place. Whether it is a place you've actually been, a place you've dreamed about going, or just a setting that puts you totally at ease. And I'd like you to just imagine yourself there. I'd like you to just drink in the scene. So through your sense faculties, even with eyes closed, what do you visually imagine about the space? What does it look like? What are the sounds, smells, even tastes or feelings? Just immerse yourself in it as much as you can. And don't forget, the most important thing is to enjoy. And now let's consider some other situations. So, as a culture, we sometimes get into complaining. It's very natural. And as a culture, based on those of you that have shown up here, obviously have access to electricity, phones, anything like that. We probably have food, clothing, and shelter. Incredible luxuries to some parts of the planet. Sometimes we complain. It's very normal. So let's explore some of this to help us really appreciate more the situations we have, to counter the negative, critical, whining mind, if you're subject to that at times. But to really, really appreciate the situation we have. So I'd like you to explore for a moment one of the situations in traditional Lam-Rim teachings on precious human rebirth. Again, Lam is path, Rim are steps on the path. That's our philosophy, the Lam-Rim, which takes us through a variety of topics that help us have a richer experience of life and help us develop the good heart to help others. So one of the situations we're free from is being an animal, being in the animal realm. Okay? Many of you may have pets. They're the peak of the animal realm, pets and service animals. Most animals, it's a big pyramid, are not in that situation. Most of them live in the sea or the insect realm. So you can use your pet if you'd like. Other animals, you know, choose an animal, any animal, doesn't matter. As best as you can, I want you to put your mind in that animal's body. I want you to look out through their eyes. How do they go about feeding themselves? Is it stressful? Or is it very comfortable, like sitting down to a nice meal with a friend? What do they eat? Is it appetizing to you? What do they do all day? What do you think they think about through their daily activities? Do they eat in great fear of another animal preying on them? How do they sleep? What do they get alarmed about? What do they understand? So slowly consider, as best as you can, these various angles of being an animal as best as you can. Be that animal that you choose. Really immerse yourself in that experience. What kind of freedom does the animal have? Freedom to go out when they want if they're your pet, freedom to get their treats when they want. We love going to the refrigerator to get a snack. Can they do that? What about in the wild? You see how birds eat sometimes, looking around, how squirrels eat. Buddhist teachings are if you put your mind in that life of an animal for a second, you completely freak out. So bring yourself back right now to your life. Leave the animal realm. Here you are, a human, with all the succulent advantages you have. Just notice, how does it feel? Let's explore another situation. So, one advantage, again, of a precious human rebirth, traditionally, is we're born in a central land, they'll say, or we're not born in what's considered a barbaric society. So that could be a country like Saudi Arabia where you're not allowed to practice Dharma, it's illegal. So I just like you to imagine for a moment that you're a 25-year-old woman living in Afghanistan. 25-year-old woman living in Afghanistan. As best as you can, try to put your mind in that situation. And imagine when you were 5 years old, the political situation arose and there was a change in the country, and you had access to education and a different set of rights than had been before for women. So, from the age of 5 years old, most of your life, that's what you've known. Imagine that mindset of how you've lived most of your life with your family, with your friends, going to school, learning, getting educated, having dreams, planning a career, some sense of relative freedom. Now you're 25 years old. You're still living in Afghanistan. That's your home. You'd like to live there. I'd just like you to imagine, what is it like for you now? And while we can't know all the details, just imagine, what would it be like? Be that young woman. What is it like for her with her family? What are her activities now all day long? What is she thinking about doing? How are her hopes and dreams? Career? Just imagine, what is it like to be her? Take yourself through one of her days. And so, the way it works with analytical meditation like this is you want to place your mind as much as you can in this woman's experience. So, you use your concentration for that. The concentration we were working on the first half, building concentration to apply it. So, when you get a juicy feeling of the framework in which this woman lives, this young woman, no freedom, no ability to choose various things she'd like to do in her life. When you get that juicier feeling, then you want to focus all your concentration on that to deepen that experience. In a sense, in this way, how awful it would be to be in that situation. Stay there for a moment. Stay there as long as you can. When it fades, you go back and analyze again more quickly, coming back to that concentrated focus. Then slowly bring yourself back to your life, back here in your space, and just notice the bubbles of thought or any feelings you have arising. Think of your precious life of freedom. Drink it in, please. Please celebrate that. Just think of food, clothing, and shelter, the three basic necessities in life. Think of how easy they are for you. And just breathe in that wave of appreciation that this is your life. Let that appreciation soak through all the pores of your skin, through your entire body, mind experience, all the way down to a molecular level. So every cell, every membrane, every tiny thought is touched with gratitude. And in conclusion, may we dedicate whatever positive energy we've created doing these practices, spending this time in meditation. May it help wake us up more and more to the preciousness of our existence, the life we have now, so that we may use it more meaningfully as much as possible, helping us reach that fully awakened state as a Buddha, as then we're completely unlimited in benefiting all living beings. Gewadi no duda lama sange jugyo ne jiwa chikyama lupa te isalago parsho janjo janjo rempoje mage banam ge gurje ke banyam pa me payong gane gandu belwarjo. I'd like to thank you so much for joining. I'd also like to put in the chat, there is a class coming up, and thank you, Kath, who has posted how to register for that with Land of Medicine Buddha. I'll also put my website because there's a number of other courses coming up. I'm starting also a Discovering Buddhism for Land of Medicine Buddha on the, I believe, the 21st of February, Monday nights. It will be. And you can sign up for that as well. So this Monday, which is Valentine's Day, so I wish you all a very happy day to celebrate love. I'm leading something in the evening from 6:30 to 8 Pacific time. And then the following Mondays, I'm going to be doing a series of Discovering Buddhism about refuge. What is refuge in Buddhism? What do you take refuge in? Is it helping? So we're going to look at that. And then there's other classes at amymiller.com as well, that you can check out some other classes I'm doing. We're also looking for volunteers. You can do it remotely for Land of Medicine Buddha. So do let me know. Send me an email and let me know, or you can, that's probably the best way I can pass that on. And thank you. Kath just posted the link for the refuge class to sign up. Please do. It'll be really fun. And so glad you joined. I'm here every Saturday morning, 9:30 California time. Lovely to have all of you here. Any questions or comments about meditation, please?
I have a quick one. When we're doing the really focused meditation on an area, sometimes it almost feels like, it's almost like zooming in on a camera, where suddenly that area kind of becomes everything, and then it'll go down, and then it'll, kind of expand and go down to a smaller spot and expand. As I'm focusing on that, sometimes that expansion, either I find myself kind of trying to have that focus, or it's almost like that in and of itself can be a little distraction to the focus.
Sure.
Does that make sense at all?
That's very common. And sorry, someone was asking on Facebook, amymiller.com. If you go there and email me, you'll get my email. Then it'll come to me, amymiller.com, A-M-Y, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R.com. That's very common in meditation. So and you can also email me at info@amymiller.com, I-N-F-O. That's just distraction. So sometimes we have an object where we're focusing on the Buddha and the Buddha's moving around and turning. So again, sometimes it'll zoom in, zoom out. Just relax your mind, like calm, don't squeeze too much and just relax your mind. And sometimes it'll just slowly subside, but that's really common. Yeah. And you can don't overly focus on it when it's doing it. Just kind of be like, oh yeah, that's just, my mind's not settled down, not controlled enough. And then slowly, and you can also choose another object. For instance, maybe focus on a golden drop of light at the nostrils, or here. Sometimes ultimately we focus on an image of the Buddha. And the reason is it uplifts the mind. It leaves a positive imprint on the mind. So slowly you can start to practice with a deity image where you can look at a picture first, but then you want to close your eyes and you're bringing that image to mind. It's a mental image we're holding that we're building the concentration with. I'm not staring at an image. That's not the kind of meditation. It's from your mind side. How am I holding the concentration? How am I holding the image? And you slowly build from there. But again, this takes time. So please be patient with yourself.
Okay, good. One more question on that. So I know we don't want to kind of bounce back and forth either in our, what we're putting our mind on. But if my mind is kind of getting distracted with the kind of like blowing in and out, kind of a zoom in, zoom out thing, it's okay at that point just to say, I'm going to focus on one dot as opposed in the middle of that, or should I wait till the end and take a pause and then go to the dot?
Yeah, no, right in the middle you can do.
Okay.
That's fine. Is just say, okay, I need to kind of fine tune a little bit right now. Like some
Okay.
people get really distracted and all of a sudden they go, oh, let me count my breaths. That'll bring me. So whatever technique works for you that is going to help you focus is very helpful like that. Yeah, whatever works. And slowly you're going to build over time where you start getting familiar with the meditation or how your mind works. And then you know what sort of thing to apply.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much, everyone.